Attention, Commanders fans, this is big and could change everything. First off, our star safety made an impact both on and off the field on the same day. What did he do after the victory? It'll leave you speechless. Next, the backfield is heating up. A young running back might dethrone the veteran starter. Are we ready to risk it all with playoffs so close? And brace yourselves, because on Sunday, a seasoned veteran made history and his performance could push the coaching staff to make drastic offensive decisions. Are we prepared to lean on him during the most critical moments? This is something you can't ignore if you love this team. Subscribe now and stay until the end, because what's coming might define our future. Listen up, everyone, because this is the kind of story that makes you stop and think about life. Jeremy Reeves, our star safety for the Washington Commanders, didn't just win on the field Sunday night, he also scored a major personal victory off the field. That's right, you heard it here, 2 wins in one night. Let me ask you this, how often do you see a player achieving success both professionally and personally at the same time? Not often, but Reeves pulled it off and did so with style. Now, when we think of Jeremy Reeves, we think of a guy who's been through it all. Undrafted, clawing his way into the NFL, earning all-pro recognition, and then facing the devastation of a torn ACL. Let's be real, how many would have quit in his shoes? A lot, I'd say, but not Jeremy. He came back, put in the work, fought hard, and not only earned his spot on the team now heading to the playoffs, but also took the big leap with his longtime girlfriend, Michaela Worley. You've been with me through everything, and it's only right we take this next step together, he said to her. Let's talk about knowing your priorities. Who does that after one of the most pressure-packed nights of their career? A champion does, that's who. Reeves didn't just play football on Sunday, he played with heart. And you know how the Commanders area team that's faced similar highs and lows as Reeves. They've lifted us up, only to break our hearts at times. But just like him, this season, we've seen a resilience in this team that's got us daring to dream big. Does Jeremy Reeves embody the spirit of these Commanders? I'll tell you this, yes he does. A man who never gives up, fights for his place, and values those who stand by his side on and off the field. Context matters here. Sunday night, Washington clinched a playoff berth with a win over the Falcons in a game that showcased the cumulative effort built over a season of high stakes. Reeves, of course, played a part in that victory, but the real highlight was what happened afterward. In the locker room, surrounded by teammates, coaches, and even media, he was celebrating not just the win, but his engagement to Michaela. Doesn't that just hit you in the feels? Football is more than just a game, it's a reflection of life itself. Jeremy spoke about Michaela's impact on his life with such authenticity. She was there when I was at my lowest, he said, recalling those dark days after his injury. Think about this. How many of us have someone who stuck by us like that? Through his recovery, Michaela wasn't just a source of comfort, but also motivation to come back stronger than ever. And here we are now, Reeves, a man at the peak of his career, engaged, playing on a team determined to make some noise in the playoffs. Let's be clear, what we witnessed on Sunday wasn't just a celebration, it was a statement. The Commanders aren't just playoff bound, they're led by people like Jeremy Reeves who understand the value of hard work and the relationships that sustain us. I'll tell you this, if this team can channel that human spirit something bigger than the sport itself, who can stop them? Let me ask you, isn't this exactly what it means to be a Commander? I'll end with this. Jeremy Reeves gave us a lesson on Sunday. He reminded us that football, like life, is about more than just the scoreboard. It's about perseverance, about the people who lift you up when you're down, and about never losing sight of what truly mattered. So now I ask you fans, do you see the same grit and resilience in the Commanders that Jeremy Reeves exhibits on and off the field? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss this. Because, like Jeremy, I believe this team has something special, something that could make history. Are you ready to dream big with the Commanders? I sure am. Leave your opinions below. Let's talk about a hot topic, Washington Commanders fans. Is Chris Rodriguez the running back we need to take this team to the next level? I'll tell you what, folks, it's time to face the facts. Rodriguez should be our R-bone. Yep, I said it, and someone had to say it. Now I ask you, are we willing to step out of the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mindset to bet on something that could clearly be better? Let's break it down. First, let's look at the numbers. Chris Rodriguez is averaging 4.9 yards per carry so far in his career, while Brian Robinson is stuck at a decent but less impactful 4.1. That difference, my friends, may seem small, but in the NFL, it's everything. In an offense designed by Cliff Kingsbury, which thrives on speed, vision, and dynamic play, a guy like Rodriguez is the perfect fit. This isn't new. Even back in college, Rodriguez proved he was better at reading defensive lines and finding those critical gaps. Isn't that exactly what we're looking for in a lead back? Now, let's talk about Robinson. What happened against the Eagles was a disaster. 2 fumbles and only 24 yards. Is that who we want as our R-bone heading into the playoffs? Because I'll tell you this, that's not gonna cut it. He did slightly better against the Falcons, sure, but let's be honest, there were a couple of short yardage plays where he just didn't deliver. And what about that awful pass block in the first quarter that almost got Jaden Daniels sent straight to the hospital? As they say, when your strong points falter, doubts start creeping in. I'm not saying Robinson doesn't have talent, because he does, but is it enough to lead this team's ground game in the most crucial moments? I don't think so. Now look at Rodriguez. He came into the game against Atlanta in the third quarter and brought something this team desperately needs: mental and physical toughness. Every yard he picked up was literally wrestled out of the opponent, and that 2-yard touchdown run was a perfect example of running with strength and determination. Plus, let's talk about his ability to protect the quarterback. Rodriguez showed in that game that he can block the pass rush better than Robinson, a critical skill in an offense so dependent on Jaden Daniels' arm. Don't believe me? Watch the tape. Rodriguez bought crucial time in the pocket, allowing Daniels to make important connections. I'll tell you what, you can't put a price on those kinds of contributions. But let me be clear here. I'm not saying we should completely take Brian Robinson out of the offensive game plan. He has an important role as a receiving back, where his athletic ability in open space can really shine. Picture this: Rodriguez grinding down defenses with his physicality in the trenches, while Robinson exploits the gaps in the passing game. That combination not only diversifies our attack, but also creates a level of unpredictability that would be a nightmare for any opposing defense. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, but Robinson has the experience and the draft pedigree, and I ask you, when has this organization ever shied away from making bold decisions? We've seen this coaching staff and management prioritize performance over the name on the back of the jersey. Just look at how undrafted and lesser-known players have secured key spots on this roster. So, what's stopping us from doing the same at running back? Listen, the playoffs are just around the corner. Every yard will matter, every block will be crucial, and every decision about who steps onto the field could be the difference between advancing or going home. Rodriguez has proven he has the vision, strength, and skills to be the kind of back who can be the driving force behind a productive ground game. With him as our bone, the Commanders not only maximize their offensive scheme, but also their chances of postseason success. I'll close with this. Folks, the stats are clear, the eye test is clear, and the logic is clear. Chris Rodriguez deserves to sit atop the depth chart in this offense. I believe Robinson can still contribute to this team, but everything points to Rodriguez leading the way. So, I ask you, we ready to embrace this change for the good of the team? Or do we prefer to cling to a formula that's already shown its flaws? Share your thoughts in the comments. Alright Redskins, get comfortable, because what happened with Zack Ertz on Sunday is one of those moments that makes you think, is fate working in our favor? Let me tell you, this Ertz didn't just punch our ticket to the playoffs, he also made sure his wallet was smiling after that victory. How many things can go right for one player in a single night? Let's break it down. First, the obvious. Zack Ertz had his best game of the season. 6 catches, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, that spectacular overtime touchdown that sealed our spot in the postseason. Let me ask you this. How often do you see a 12-year veteran deliver this kind of impact in crunch time? I'll tell you, not often. Ertz didn't just play a solid game, he played like a leader, like someone who knows exactly what's at stake. That final touchdown was poetry in motion, showing us that when big plays are needed, this guy can deliver. Now, let's talk money, because we can't ignore this. Ertz literally cashed in with style. In one night, he activated 3 incentive clauses in his contract. You're following 3 bonuses. In one game, let me break it down for you. $250,000 for reaching his 6th touchdown of the season. Another $250,000 for surpassing 60 catches in the season. And yet another $250,000 for surpassing 600 receiving yards. Boom. $750,000 in the bag. Now, I ask you, can you think of a better way to lock in the win than this? I'll tell you this, absolutely not. But what I love most about Ertz isn't just his ability to catch under pressure, but how he's become a mentor for the young talent on the command. Jaden Daniels, our rookie quarterback, has flourished this season partly because he has a veteran like Ertz guiding. You've got a guy who not only makes plays on the field, but also ensures the next generation is ready to step up. Isn't that exactly what you want in a leader? And hold on, because this story gets even better. With those receiving yards, Ertz surpassed none other than Ozzie Newsome on the all-time list, landing himself in 9th place among tight ends for career receiving yards. We're talking about a Hall of Famer here. And now, Zack Ertz is climbing that list, leaving an indelible mark on the history of the game. And if all that wasn't enough, guess what? It was his mom's birthday. Roll credits, folks, because this story couldn't be any more perfect. Now, let's pause and think about something. Are we fully utilizing what Ertz brings to this team? Because I'll tell you this, if a 12-year veteran like Zack Ertz can keep making clutch plays when the team needs him most, then why aren't we incorporating him even more into the core of our offense? With 61 catches, 610 yards, and 6 touchdowns this season, he's clearly still got gas left in the tank. So, I ask you, should he play an even bigger role in the offense heading into the playoffs? Because when it's do or die, you're going to want a guy like Ertz in your corner. The Commanders aren't just heading into the playoffs with momentum, they're doing it with leaders like Ertz who don't shy away from big moments. And it's not just about what he does on the field. Ertz is helping build a culture here, with veterans like him pushing the younger players to be their best and proving that hard work pays off in every sense. We're watching this team take a big step forward. I'll leave you with this. Zack Ertz showed us on Sunday what it means to be a true professional. He reminded us that experience mixed with talent can still make a huge difference in today's NFL. But now it's your turn, fans. Do you think Ertz should have an even bigger role in the offense for the playoffs? Or do you think we're utilizing him just right? Drop your thoughts below because this debate is just getting started. Commanders fans, after hearing all these stories and moves, it's impossible not to reflect on what's happening with our team. So now I ask you, do you believe the Commanders are showing the same grit and resilience that Jeremy Reeves demonstrates on and off the field? Or do you feel there are still key areas that need improvement? Your opinion matters, so drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. On the other hand, it's time to look ahead. Are we ready to embrace the changes that seem necessary for the team's future? Or do we prefer to stick with formulas that have worn us down in the past? This season is defined by big decisions, and the voice of the fan base always counts. Let me know what stance you'd take if you were in the decision maker's shoes. And with the playoffs in sight, the question of the moment arises. Should Zack Ertz have an even bigger role in the offense to boost our chances? Or do you think his current use is ideal to maintain balance? With crucial plays just around the corner, your analysis as fans is key. Share your opinion now. Finally, I want to invite you to be part of this great community that not only shares news, analysis, and debates, but also celebrates the passion for this very special team. Subscribe to the channel right now! Together, we'll continue growing this family of fans that never stop supporting the Commanders, no matter what. Thank you for being here. Comment, subscribe, and let's keep growing together as loyal fans. And remember, hail to the Redskins!